Hey, this is Christina with leadsandleverage.com, and hopefully people can hear me. I'll have to wait. If you're watching this in replay, I need to wait a couple minutes for people to get on so I can make sure people can hear me. Hopefully you can hear me. While you're waiting, go ahead right up here in the corner and click on live subscribe so that you can be notified when I come live again. So make sure you click on the live subscribe so that you know when I'm on again. Today, I'm actually gonna talk about this one reason why we get lost in the abyss of shiny object syndrome. So I don't know about you, but I tend to fall into that abyss at times. How about you guys? Do you guys get lost in shiny object syndrome and then get frustrated? So hi, Mari. So that's kind of what I'm going to talk about today, getting lost in the abyss of shiny object syndrome and really why it happens and how to avoid it. It's not a mindset thing, and it's pretty interesting why it happens. So as more people are coming on, let me know where you guys are from, where you are logging on from. I'm in gorgeous, well, you probably know it as Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, but I actually live in Hayden, just north of Coeur d'Alene, like a mile. It's really all one area. You can't even tell where it switches over. Connecticut. How's the weather there, Susan? Hi, Susan. Hi, Chris. I said hi, Mari. I'm pacing today. Sorry, guys. I have a lot of energy, and I'm going to pace it out. Pace that energy out. Washington, D.C. Ooh, you're getting close to apple blossoms. Or not the apple blossoms. Sorry, the cherry blossoms. Blah. Washington. State of Washington's apple blossoms. Sorry. Puerto Rico. Oh, my gosh. I love all over the place. You guys are awesome. Yeah, cherry blossoms. Sorry. We lived out there in airplane. We live near the airport. It's lots of small, little airplanes come by. It's not a big commercial airport. We lived out there in Philly, and so we would go down and look at the cherry blossoms. And of course, now we're here right next to Washington, so it's apple blossoms. Washington State. Sunny and 48. That is awesome. Yeah, it is over 60 today. Chris is from Spokane. Awesome. He's experiencing this gorgeous weather too. Oops. Yeah, it's so gorgeous. It was cold this morning, but sunny. And then I was in downtown Coeur d'Alene helping somebody with their marketing program for their new business down there. And I walked outside at about 1 o'clock, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so warm. 60 and it's warm. It's just been cold for a while. Okay, so we're going to talk about, first of all, why we get lost in the abyss of shiny object syndrome. And it's very fitting that shiny object syndrome has the initials SOS because we need help getting out of it. So it's very fitting that it has that acronym. So here's the thing. Shiny object syndrome, it's not necessarily because there's so much stuff. There's a lot of stuff, and I do know we're inundated with a lot of it. But here's where it stems from. When you find a product or a service that you're like, yes, this is going to work for me. This is going to be what I need. And I'm not talking about, like, if you do that to everything, you might have a different issue. Not really knowing what you need. But if you find something and you're just really gung-ho and you've spent time in it, or finding that person, mentor or a coach or a service or a product, whatever that is, and you are just, in your gut, in your heart, that is right for you and your business. You know it. So then you dive deeper and you keep going and you get excited and you have that excitement. Do you wonder why your excitement kind of wanes after a while? So here's what it is. part or for the big reason why we're all on our own journeys. And when we're on this journey of building a real estate business, or a journey of life, but building a real estate business specifically, when we're on that journey, we go down different paths on that journey. So we all have different experiences. So when we find something or someone that we feel is the right thing or person to guide us farther to the next step of our journey, we get excited. And what do we tend to do when we get excited? When we're enthusiastic about, when we're excited about something, we tend to share it with other people. So we share our excitement and enthusiasm. And the problem is that in our sharing, we're also seeking some validation. And we end up sharing our excitement and enthusiasm with the wrong people. And here's what I mean. And by the wrong people, a lot of times the wrong people are your colleagues, your brokers, people, friends and family. A lot of times those are the wrong people to be sharing your excitement and enthusiasm about your object, the object that you got or are picking. And here's where it leads into shiny object syndrome, guys. You share your excitement about it, but then they don't have the same excitement. They don't have the same excitement because they didn't experience the same journey that you did. They're not there. They don't see the solutions that you see. They may not even see the same problems that you see. So they don't understand why you'd need that solution, or why you'd resonate with that solution, or why that person or that mentor might be the right person for you. So you're sharing them with the wrong people, and what happens is our enthusiasm wanes because of our social pressures, the people that we're sharing with. If we're sharing it with colleagues, I've seen this happen a number of times with people who have joined Facebook Domination Secret. They get in, they're excited, they come into the community, they see the other agents that are there, that have been there, making Facebook lead generation happen for them. This is just one example, guys. This happens in everything. But they're there making Facebook lead generation happen and work for them. And it looks different than they've ever experienced before. And they feel connected to it. And then they go and share it in other Facebook groups. They share tactics and things. And people start knocking them down. Or they share it at their business meetings, the sales meetings that you have, weekly sales meetings. And people start knocking them down. Or they share it with their broker. Or they share it with whatever. And it can be newbies knocking them down. It can be people who've been in the business for 20 years knocking them down. The key here is that they're not on the same journey as you, so they're not going to understand why that is something that you would even consider needing or consider wanting. I'm going to put this down because this is killing my... Listen, guys, I'm going to adjust the tripod here, so I can stand still. Actually, put my arm down. Sorry about that. So the issue is that we open our mouths, which is fine. We're so excited. We want to share things, but we're opening it to the wrong people, and we end up losing our confidence either in the person that we've decided to connect with, or in the product that we've decided to use, or in the process that other people are using and doing. But because we're surrounded on a day-to-day basis with people who do not understand our journey, who don't share our same journey, we want them to understand us, we want them to validate it, but they're the wrong people. And my connection is weak, so if you guys are getting this weak connection, a little bit of a weak connection. I've been walking back and forth with a strong connection, so I don't know what's going on now. Let's just give it a minute to get stronger. Watching the connection, guys. Let's see what happens. Well, I'm just checking the connection. So if you think you can't hear me, sorry, just mine. It just, yeah, Tammy, the feed just got weak. The feed just started dying, just got weak. So we're trying to fix that. doesn't look like it's got to be the internet. So I'm going to keep going, and hopefully it'll strengthen up again. Okay, so I'll just do this here, and hopefully it'll strengthen up again. So what you want to do, I heard this phrase once at a conference that I was at, and it resonated with me. Yeah, it's pixely, guys. It's okay. I mean, I'm trying to get it's got to be our internet because I'm actually on the Wi-Fi. So it should come back here in just a minute. I heard this phrase at a conference once, and there's two elements to it, okay, where it looks like we're back with a stronger feed. There's two elements to it. First of all, we need to protect our confidence. If we're confident in something, if we're confident in ourselves and the path that we're on and the journey that we're taking, we need to protect that, because what happens is people come and pick away at our confidence, and then we start questioning our choices, and then we start looking at other objects, other shiny objects. So it becomes this shiny object syndrome. That's when we start looking. We're fine using a certain CRM, a certain database, and then all of a sudden somebody says, well, yeah, but you should be using this. And you're like, underneath it all, you're going, well, why? I like what I have. But on the top, you're like, ooh, am I missing something? Am I doing something wrong? Should I be doing something different? So we need to work on, all of us, individually need to work on protecting our confidence. And a lot of that comes with who we share our excitement and our enthusiasm with. So when you are on the same journey as someone else, so you guys, if you are like my Facebook Domination Secret members, they're on a different journey than everyone else, every other real estate agent that wants to use Facebook, blogging, websites for their real estate business. They're on a different journey. We have people in the membership, we have agents in the membership who have been on this journey for 2 years. I've been on this journey for 20 years. So we have people mentoring other agents, kind of there for questions and stuff. And we've retained our confidence because we know it works. We also know how to ignore the naysayers because we stay focused in our community. We stay focused on the people who we know are doing what we want to do, or where we want to be. So it's all part of avoiding shiny object syndrome and that whole SOS. The big piece of this is protecting your confidence and not exuding that excitement and enthusiasm to the wrong people. Now you can be excited, you don't have to be all morbid around other people. What I mean is we get excited about, oh, I'm going to use Facebook and use it for my real estate business. There goes the feed again, guys. It's just pixelating a little bit. I'm going to use it for my real estate business. And then we go and tell people at the sales meeting, like I said earlier. And then they're like, they poo-poo us. Oh, that doesn't work. Or you should be doing this. Or we go into one of those Facebook groups that tell us that we should be doing it differently. Or we should be adding on a referral thing. Or we should be doing this. So the biggest thing that we can do for ourselves to avoid shiny object syndrome is to protect our confidence and stay entrenched in a group or a community of people who are on the same journey that we are on. The same journey. So, the reason people tend to lead us into shiny object syndrome, I'm going to unlike yours, Charis, because I want to respond to yours. The reason people tend to lead us into shiny object syndrome is for a number of reasons. Well, first of all, the underlying reason is usually because that means to them underneath, they may not be able to admit this to themselves, but did I miss something? Or I don't want to do the work involved to get there, to do that, to be that. I want my business to look differently, but they haven't acknowledged that in themselves. So they can't identify what they're doing to you. And some of it comes off as really great, pleasant stuff. Oh, that's wonderful. Are you doing XYZ? And you're like, no, why should I be? It's all positive, but it's really a dig at our confidence. So we don't want to seek validation from the wrong people. Well, technically, we shouldn't be seeking validation from anyone. We are ourselves, but protect your confidence. And when you get into, if you decide that, like if you're a Facebook Domination Secret member, this message is kind of for my members, but if you're a Facebook Domination Secret member, don't get discouraged by the naysayers, because they're not doing it. They're not on your same journey, first of all. Second of all, so two, they're not on your same journey, and they're not interested in the same type of business that you have. Now, they might be, but they need to get there on their own, and you can't bring them there. They need to take that journey on their own. You can give them the pieces and the elements, bits and pieces, but unless they decide inside of them that this is the direction they want to go or that's what they want to do, you don't want to keep using them as part of your community of people who support what you're doing. So we lean to, so basically the whole element of this video is that we go towards SOS, shiny object syndrome, when our confidence has been nicked. When people that we think that we should be listening to, or maybe we don't even know that we should be listening, or maybe we don't even know if we should be listening to them, or maybe we know we shouldn't be listening to them, but they still say things or put questions in our minds that weren't there, but they're not on the same journey. So hopefully this is kind of making sense. I'm gonna use my current business now. Actually, I'm gonna use my real estate business, and then I'm gonna also use my current business as an example for you guys. So when I got into real estate in 1995, I was a second generation realtor. I came in from, first of all, we had a chain of retail stores as a family that we started based on an idea that I had. So I've been an entrepreneur since I was 14. A real entrepreneur, like, I don't mean selling bubble gum or resale stuff. I mean, we actually had stores. And my dad was also looking for something. And so when I had this idea, he was like, let's do this. I'm like, okay, I'm 14. I'm like, okay. So by the time I was 18, we had 4 different stores. I was managing, I was a regional manager for all of the stores. So I was beyond my peers. I was beyond most of the the people that were in college with me. I was beyond some of the professors, not in the book learning knowledge stuff, but in experience. So by the time I didn't go to college right away. By the time I turned 20, we decided to liquidate the stores because my dad got into real estate. And he's like, I'm tired of this. Do you want these businesses? I'm like, no, I don't. I hate retail. It had been 6 years, and I was like, I'm done with retail. It controls my life. So I'm like, I'm going to go to college. So we liquidated the stores, and I went into college. Of course, I loved the thrill of marketing, driving people into the business, which was what I did. That was how when we were kind of slow in different seasons, I would figure out how to make those seasons work for us, etc. So I went into college. Marketing and entrepreneurship. That was what I studied. Got back out of college, went in to real estate with my dad. Second generation realtor. He already did things kind of his own way. But what happened was when I came into him and I brought a completely different outside perspective. And remember, this was 21 years ago, guys, when, cell phones didn't exist. Internet barely existed. It was bulletin board services, and it was just starting to become like AOL and CompuServe. And MLS, guess what? Guess what the MLS was? It was a book. And we would drive around with books, and you had to keep all the books because you couldn't get the sold data any other way. You couldn't do CMAs any other way. So we did that. I got in and I brought a completely different marketing perspective because we had the retail stores, and then I had my college degree, my college education, and I brought all of that to it and went, okay, this is totally different. Not different, this is specialized, this is different. And we started standing alone. We started, as soon as email came out, started collecting email addresses. We got on the web in 95. We didn't go to sales meetings because we were able to specifically detail that, well, going to this meeting actually doesn't improve our skills and it doesn't bring us money. We knew, and one of the big things that I learned was knowing my numbers, all my numbers. That was huge. So we went into that. Keep going along. We never fit into anything, although we did more business than every other agent in the area for years. But a lot of that, nobody knew. Because we had so much stuff that we were doing and so many ways we were doing it, we weren't out there for awards. We were doing it differently. So, and then that goes on. So stand out. It's hard. It's hard to stand. And I don't mean stand out like so people notice. I mean stand out differently. And then they're questioning what you're doing. And then they're in some cases, degrading what you're doing. But we knew we were on the right path for what we wanted and how we wanted to do it. So we did that. When I launched Leads and Leverage, one of the things that the way people in the real estate industry become trainers or mentors or coaches or teachers in the real estate industry, you guys have to know this part. They go to all your events, all the conferences, and they speak. So they get on all these speaker roles. And there's nothing wrong with that, guys. This is not a diss on what's right or wrong. It's a commentary on when you want to do something differently, you'll look different. So I knew going into this based on, and I told you guys a couple days ago, based on my priority for time with my family and my priority for my relationships, I knew that I did not want to get on the speaker circuit. That's not what I wanted to do. And I was like, you know what? I don't care if it takes me longer to build this business. I want to build it in a way that's true to me, to my family, to my values, and to what I truly value. And I was so sick as an agent, so sick of going to these conferences and having people up there who didn't know what they were talking about. They were either vendors who had never actually sold real estate, never actually done anything. And it's not, in a sense, this part's not their fault. You don't have to sell real estate to see a need and fill it. That's not what I'm saying. The problem is that a lot of times the needs that people see that we as agents have, that's not the actual need. That's not the actual problem. There's actually a different problem, but unless you're an agent, you don't really, you haven't learned that. You don't know where those gaps are. So when I came into Leads and Leverage, I knew where those gaps are. It was the struggle of time. Okay, social media was becoming popular, and I knew it was important. It was bringing us businesses, had been for years. So what's that look like for other people? Well, for other people, that looks like give them canned garbage that they can put on their Facebook page. Give them pre-made ads that look like billboards that they can throw up on Facebook, without understanding that that's not how you get leads and how you get people on Facebook. So I look different. I don't go out on speaking tours. I don't sell the same products. I don't do the same things. It looks different, and people don't understand it. And they don't understand why I don't do things a certain way. Unless they know me. If they know me, they know what my values are and what I prioritize and what I want to do. So all of this to say, I don't get sucked into shiny object syndrome pretty much ever now. If something comes across my radar multiple times, I'll go, okay, I'll just check it real quick. Nope, it's good. I don't need it. I don't have a problem that needs solving. So, and I'm not letting someone else attack my confidence. I am bringing around me, not only do I go to events where people who have the same type of businesses that I have go to so that I can interact with my community, the people who make sense to me, but I'm also building the same type of community around me locally. And that's not easy to find because there are not a lot of people who have online businesses. And it's going to be the same thing for you. If you're trying to find real estate agents who have the same goals for their business and the same focus locally, you're going to have to look very carefully and kind of gauge them by their language. What kind of verbiage do they use? Are they excuse makers? Is there an excuse for everything? Is everything a no? Or are they people that are like, that's interesting. I wonder if that would work. You need to gauge them by that. So the way to avoid the majority of shiny object syndrome is to keep yourself immersed in a community that helps you protect your confidence. And that is the big, huge thing. Sure. Okay, so Nancy, I think you came in a little bit later, but I'm trying to teach you guys how to, or give you guys insight on how to avoid shiny object syndrome. Chasing different objects, chasing different methods. And I started at the beginning. So if you came in several minutes into the video, I had a whole section at the beginning that I talked about. But the biggest thing that we have to do is we have to protect ourselves from well-meaning but wrong colleagues and brokers and other people who have no idea what our journey is on, and they in a sense attack our choices. When we choose a mentor, a coach, a system, a product, and we're happy with it, and then several weeks later, we're questioning it because other people have said there's better, there's this, there's that. We have to realize that one, they're not on our same journey. Two, they have the same understanding that we do about what we need or want, and we need to protect that. We need to stay separated from those people. What I mean by separate is don't share so much of your enthusiasm and excitement for something with someone else who's not on the same journey. So when I'm talking to other people about my business now, if they don't understand when I say I have an online business, I just tell them I'm a trainer. It's just easier. Because they don't have this, they're not there on the same journey. And as I get to know them, I can share more. But as a real estate agent, I rarely ever told people what we did. If people asked what I was doing or what I was using, I would share it, but I would never listen to their feedback. I don't listen to other agents' feedback for me as an agent because they're not on my journey. And when I listen to other agents' feedback about what I use or who I follow or how I do something, then I become confused. I become disconnected with what I knew was my path. And that is what leads you into shiny object syndrome, because then you start searching for that next thing. And one of the reasons we keep thinking that, we say silver bullets and squirrel, blah, blah, blah. And that's the big reason. It's because we've let other people discombobulate us. They've attacked our confidence, even though it's not like a blatant attack. They've attacked our confidence. Yeah, Charis is like, I think that's true with a lot in life. You don't have to share everything with everyone. Exactly. Share it with the people that matter to you the most, or who you know will understand the most. That's the thing. So when we have certain people we share certain things with in our lives, and other people that we're just as good as friends, but we don't share some things with, because some people are on different journeys. Some have different financial journeys. Some have different religious journeys, political, all these different things. And so you want to keep, number one, protect the relationship, but two, protect your confidence. And that's so the phrase protect your confidence is kind of what I'm leaning on, because you want to be confident in the choices that you're making. So Nancy says, got it. When people don't understand our path, they tend to believe we are wrong, not them, right? And you're right. And they're not necessarily wrong. They're just not right for you. And they're going to give you their thought. But you're listening to people, when you listen to other people and they don't understand your path, here's the problem. They don't know you, they don't understand you, and most of the time, they don't understand themselves. So they're throwing all this stuff out because they can't make decisions. They can't stick to whatever they've chosen to stick to. One of the reasons that I hear over and over again, that direct mail doesn't work, that email doesn't work, that door knocking doesn't work, that cold calling doesn't work, that open houses don't work, that et cetera, et cetera, et cetera don't work. Every single one of those things work, and work very well if you do them consistently, strategically, and over time. Some take longer, some are shorter, but every single one of those things work. You might have to change your methods and how they work, and Facebook and web, you might have to change some of your methods, but the problem is for years, before we really got heavy into blogging, we started our websites in 95, but the biggest way we got the majority of our listings, we did expired. We targeted expireds, but guess what we didn't do? We didn't call them, and we didn't knock on their door. We did direct mail. We set up a direct mail. I created a direct mail system. We tested it. We tweaked it. Direct mail. It worked awesome. It worked like a charm. We never carried less than 100 listings ever in our worst year ever. And it was awesome. And it worked. And so I would get online in community groups. It wasn't Facebook, but there were AOL groups. And then there was Real Talk used to have forums years ago. And we would get on there, and people say, well, what works? I'm like, well, direct mail works. They're like, oh, I tried that. Yeah, really? What'd you do? Spend $100 and send something once to somebody? I'm talking about a consistent overtime campaign that works for somebody. So the point here is that when you hear somebody, you can always tell by the language of somebody whether they're going to be somebody who are going to try and steal your confidence or who are going to empower your confidence. And if they are somebody, stealers, say it doesn't work, or I tried that, and they're not doing it now, or they are, oh, but I tried this, and they tried all these things, but never anything long enough. And when you dig deeper, you find out that they didn't actually try it. What did you actually do? When you dig deeper, it's not there. Those are confidence stealers. People who empower you are people who go, oh yeah, here's how it worked for me. What did you do? Is there something I can learn from you? Is there something I can share with you? They're givers, and they want to help empower what you're doing. So watch for those. You don't want confidence stealers around. You want to be empowered. And you want to be an empowerer. You want to help other people. So when people come to me and say, well, Facebook ads, will XYZ work for a Facebook ad? And if it's something that I know for a fact won't actually work based on data, based on stats, etc., I'll say, that part doesn't work that way, but if you tweak it to this actually works really well. That's helping them. It's not saying, no, that won't work. It's like, well, if you tweak it, maybe it'll work like this. A lot of times we get into Facebook ads and we run ads and we're like, it didn't work. I spent $100 or $200 or $300 or whatever, and it didn't work. And I can look at somebody's campaign and know that for the most part, it's usually targeting, usually the message, usually the landing page. It's usually because there's no call to action. It's usually because they're driving people to a main page, or their targeting is terrible, or they haven't actually built the foundation of their page. I mean, I know all of these elements. I know these from fact. I can transpose that information into multiple industries. I do it. I work on, I serve for an international ministry, and I'm helping them when we're transposing all of this to help them with this ministry. I help people, local people that I know. I was just downtown working with a friend. They have a local business. It works if you know the tactics that you need to use to make it work. So I guess my point with all of this is look for verbiage and how the people that you talk to and hang around with, look for the verbiage that they're using. Are they people who steal your confidence or empower your confidence? And if they're stealers, if they steal your confidence, that's when you're going to start slipping into shiny object syndrome. That's where you start. If they empower you, you're going through, with the little horse blinkers, you're wearing horse blinkers, you're not seeing anything because you are on your path and you know what you're doing because they're empowering you and you're focused. So hopefully that, all of that shiny object syndrome, we go there because the people around us, we share what we're doing with the wrong people, and they kind of steal our confidence. So I know there was some pixelating in the middle of this and stuff. Do you guys have any questions or any other questions? Anything else? Any input? Anything for me? It's a gorgeous day, as you can see. That's part of my backyard. It's just so gorgeous that I couldn't be inside. Any questions? Yeah, Nancy, that's a good summation of that. And it's not even, you say when people don't understand our path, they tend to believe that we are wrong. It's not even so much that they believe that we're wrong. The problem is that they think that there is now a come to, I wanted to say a come to Jesus meeting here, but there's a point in them that if you're right and they're not doing it, then they feel guilty. And that's not necessary to feel that way. However, that's what happens. That's just our human nature. Sorry, another plane overhead. It's a lot of little 2- and 4-seaters, private planes. And we're on there's a flight school over there that my oldest goes to. And our house is on the flight school loop. So I can always tell when they're doing the flight school because they fly right over our house. It's really quiet inside. Any other questions, you guys? I love these Facebook Lives. I have several ad questions. I can't do things on this that that I need to show you the screen on, the computer screen on, but I do want to help with, the questions that you have, tactics, strategies, things like that. I did just submit an article to Inman. I submitted it this morning. I don't know when they'll publish it. Sometimes it's the next week, sometimes it's 2 or 3 weeks later, but it's the 4 core places that you should be spending your lead generation budget right now in the second quarter of 2016. So that's coming out. And then also Tomorrow, or tonight, excuse me, tonight is the deadline for launch into, and it's not a marketing class. It's a guided coaching session. There are 15 people in it, or less, and 6 weeks, and we're going to go through really a lot of, I'm going to help you with shiny object syndrome. I'm going to help you identify how you like to work best. I'm going to help you identify what's going to work best for you in your market. I'm going to help you get rid of stuff that's not working. I'm going to help you say no to a whole lot of stuff, but I don't have that listed anywhere as an advertisement. I'm not, this is kind of it's a very small group, and if you are interested, it's called Launch Into, and you can email me, Christina@leadsandleverage.com. You can email me at Christina@leadsandleverage.com and let me know if you're interested in joining. The deadline is tonight for that, because we start on April 9th. So a week from Saturday. It'll be early Saturday mornings. So if you don't have a coach, this is not it's a guided coaching, it's a guided mastermind, actually. So if you don't know what a mastermind is, or you've never been in a mastermind, or you don't have a coach, this is not about how many calls did you make or how many people did you do. This is not like bold coaching. It's not like that. This is very different, because if you can't stand being on the phone, then guess what? We're going to find another way for you to get leads. And that's what this is about. This is about working with the best of you, working with your strengths, and comparing those with what's actually working for you and what's not. And giving yourself the guilt-free freedom to get rid of stuff and to add different stuff. Nancy says, what are the elements you quickly listed as items you use to evaluate if something is going to work? How did you determine these elements? Okay, very specifically, I was using the example of Facebook ads. So, that's what I was using when I used that example. So when I look at somebody's ad and they say, or somebody says, I tried Facebook ads, it didn't work, and I ask them to share their ad. This is not usually in Facebook Domination Secret. This is other groups. And I'll say, well, share your ad and share who you're targeted and things like that. Here's what I look at. First of all, most of the time they can't tell me a target market. Second of all, their ad is so generic and has no call to action, or it's just a listing, and I know it's not going to work in the realm of Facebook. I also know, based on where that ad leads to, or if it doesn't lead to something, if it leads to a basic, if it leads to just your website, a basic, the main page of your website, or even your search page on your website, I know it's going to flop. So there's a few elements that I know, and how did I determine these elements? Based on where the failings that most people have with their ads. Several years of testing. Now, Facebook ads have only been around for 4 years, maybe 5. We're in 2016, 2009, yeah, 5 years. I might be off a year. So that's all the testing, but it's also the years before of all the internet ads and the internet driving that we've been doing. So it's really, usually it's targeting and message and where you're sending them. There's something that's not in alignment. So that's what I look for. That's for Facebook ads. There are other things. I can tell, because I have so much experience in direct mail, I can tell you if a direct mail campaign is likely to work. I can't guarantee if it will, but I can tell you if it's likely to work. And there's some very basic elements. Most people miss. They do a direct mail campaign and they do once or twice, or they do it once a month, too far apart, and just not frequent enough. So there's some things that are very tried and true, and a lot of this stuff, some of the, clearly Facebook ads I didn't learn in college. It didn't exist then. I'm that old. But I did learn marketing in college, and we had our stores for 6 years before that, and then we had real estate, and I've applied it. So it's all over there. It's based on what I've learned and applied, and then direct response. There's all kinds of different marketing. There's direct response, there's inbound marketing, and then that's what I use in all of it. Those elements and pieces are what I use. There's also psychological triggers, and this is not something that, it's something that anybody can learn. However, you tend to have a passion for it, and that's always been my passion. How to get into the mind of the person that I want to get into, and not in a bad way, but in a way to enter into a conversation that they're already having in their head and help them solve whatever that puzzle is without disrupting their life, and without expecting them to remember anything. So that's really kind of what all of it's about. What we tend to do with traditional real estate, even on Facebook, we tend to do, there's a company out there, I'm not going to say any names, but there's a company out there that basically slaps your picture and slaps your slogan and stuff on there and throws those out as Facebook ads, and people are buying them up like left and right because they're at all the conferences. They speak at the conferences, they're at the expos, and we buy them up left and right because we think, oh, okay, great, that gets me on Facebook, or it gets me on Google, or it gets me on wherever. But the problem is that it's just a billboard. That's it. People on Facebook do not stop what they're doing and then look at your phone number and try and memorize it and then pop over to their phone from their mobile and dial your number. They don't do that. So when you have ads that's what they look like, they're going to flop. That's it. And another subject that I'll be talking about in another couple days, if you're thinking, oh, but it's brand recognition or name recognition, I'll just get in front of them multiple times. That is a lie. That is a lie that we have told ourselves in the industry is truth. We've said it for so long that it works and it's truth. It doesn't. It does not work. It doesn't work. Unless you have millions of dollars, and I mean Kleenex, the reason that Kleenex and Nike and Reebok and those companies have brand recognition is because they spent billions of dollars over 10 years, 20 years making that happen. Trying to do the whole, get you to have a memorable cartoon or memorable song, TV show or a commercial lyric or commercial jingle happening. You're not there, and people don't buy houses as often as they buy shoes. We don't buy shoes as often as we buy Kleenex. It is easier in that realm to do that. For real estate and for real estate agents, it's such a waste of time. And anyway, so going on, I'm going to talk to you guys in the next couple days about the myth of brand recognition, exposure, name recognition, getting your name out there. So those ads that I was talking about, they're absolutely not worth it. But we all suck it up like it is because we think it's worth it, because we think that name recognition is where it's at. No. If you're going to do something that's name recognition, I suggest you go into your community and you sponsor Little League, or you sponsor women's co-ed softball, or you sponsor events that your Humane Society does constantly. If that's what you're looking for name recognition and exposure, go volunteer and sponsor it and get your name out that way and become passionate about something like that. That is different. When you're trying to put this stuff out on Facebook, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. I mean, you can put it out there, but you're wasting your money. You should use your money on something to actually bring people in. So, all of that. So I have tons more. Today was a little bit, sorry about the pixelated feed, guys. It had to have been our internet. We had troubles with it yesterday, but I went on my data for yesterday's thing, so sorry about that. Do you guys have any other questions, thoughts, contributions? I mean, verbal contributions, not money contributions. Words to contribute, things to say. I think I got everything. If you're interested in Launch Into, it's Christina@leadsandleverage.com, and I'm closing it tonight. It'll be a nice small group. I think we're at 12 or 13. I need to check. We might be at 14. I need to check that to see. It's going to be a good group. And like I said, I just did that article. I know what, whoever's on here, you guys, I am just about finished setting up a free mini course. It's called, it's a Get Your Blog On 5-day blogging challenge for real estate agents. And I'm going to walk you through in 5 days, start to finish, getting a really awesome, great blog post done. And I'm going to set your foundation up on a few other things so that it's really easy for you to continue to do that. So that'll be coming out. I'm done with all the training videos, and I'm just getting them up onto their landing pages, or their pages, so that you can watch the videos and ask your questions. And so that should be out. Today is Thursday. That should be out Monday at the latest. Any other questions, you guys? Thoughts? Feedback? Comments on how gorgeous it is on here? We need to decorate the yard. It's just grass. Anything else? No? wait a minute just to see. Sorry, I'm pacing. That's what happens when I stand and talk to you guys. I tend to pace or move or had way too much energy to set today. And I actually closed the screen door. They're probably dying inside, but I closed the screen door because my little pill my dog, he's a pill. Every noise that he hears, if you hear like a little bit of hammering going on, so every noise, he goes nuts and barks when he's outside. Welcome back, Cherish. If there's any other questions, hit me with them. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up and let you go. It's been an awesome afternoon. Well, you can ask, even in replay. Just ask me your questions. I'll do more videos for you guys. Okay? I'll talk to you guys later. Have a fabulous afternoon. I will see you. I'm going to do one tomorrow, too. I'll see you tomorrow.